Massive thanks goes out to Mango for sponsoring today's video. Adrix and Nev Twin Casters versus the Mimeoplasm, Negan the Cold-Blooded, and Esior Wardwing Familiar, along with Bruse Boorish Herder. Now, I would very much love to see some ramp/token producers in there, but I can't really think of a reason to get rid of that one, so we'll keep it and hope that we make some really good top decks. Just a land on turn 1 from Billy Kills, and we get into a land of our own. Let's just throw down the Tropical Island and we'll hold up Nature's Claim to get rid of any turn 1 Soul Rings. Oh good, a Mesmeric Orb. Yeah, I F6 through Billy Kills' turn, accidentally, so I would definitely have gotten rid of that. Luckily we don't draw into anything for turn 2 anyway, so I'll let my opponents mill some cards, maybe point their own removal at the Mesmeric Orb, and then I will blow that up for sure, because it's a massive boom for the Mimeoplasm deck. Go, shocking down a land and going for Leonin Arbiter. Players can't search libraries unless they pay 2, which makes me wish I'd got down the Prismatic Vista last turn. Oh wow, the Hate Bear's coming down here, a Dranith Magistrate this time. And that's a real shame, because I was looking at getting down my commander next turn. Let's drop the Nature's Claim onto the Mesmeric Orb and give Billy Kills 4 life before going round his turn. Invisible Stalker from Kills. And like I said, that's our turn 3 messed up, although we do have Crafty Cutpurse here, so yeah, we could go for that at the end of our opponent's turn, I suppose. Let's drop the Ancient Tomb. It's good that the Urborg has come down, by the way, over here, because it will mean that we can still tap down our fetches for mana. A Brass Squire now, attaching equipment to a target creature you control. And the 2/2 comes in at us. Negan playing in a Bolt land tapped, and then it is Orzhov's Signet. And deciding to hold back the Dranith Magistrate, which is a good idea because we'll have the Crafty Cutpurse at the end of Billy Kills' turn, and then if we decide to drop the Toski, we'll be able to draw a card against the Mardu player there, but deciding not to turn sideways. Billy Kills goes for a Wonder, hard casting that, so after a board wipe or it being sacrificed, all of his creatures are going to have flying for as long as he has an island in play. Invisible Stalker turns in towards the Negan player, and we are going in for our Crafty Cutpurse. Doesn't look as though our opponents are going to be making many tokens. There's no like Smothering Tithe or anything, and I just want bodies in play at this point for the Toski. And there's another fetch for us, yeah. Dranith really hurting us here. I think we just go for the Toski. And not much point in swinging in. We'll just leave it at that. Sword of Light and Shadow from Go-Go, 4 cards left in hand. And could equip it to here by tapping down this creature if he wants, but that means that we're getting through with Toski at that point, assuming that he wants to turn this in sideways, which apparently he's not going to bother with that. Alright, and Negan is going to try and get rid of our Toski, I imagine. They might try and double bluff us and try and make us target the Toski ourselves so that they can get rid of 2 creatures. But they could do that in either direction here, so I'm just going to target the Cutpurse. Yeah, and we lose both of them. I don't think the Cutpurse was going to be much good to us without the Toski there, so not really too worried about losing both of those. And then 2 treasure tokens being made thanks to that. So at the moment we're just hoping for Avenger of Zendikar in a couple of turns, and then we can draw cards with Return of the Wildspeaker, hopefully. That's a long time to sit around doing nothing though. E-Witness from Billy Kills to get back the Mesmeric Orb. Then Banehound, Lifelink and Haste on a 1/1. 4 cards in Billy Kills' hand, and let's see if he turns sideways here. Sends a total of 3 in at Negan. 1 is flying, 1 is unblockable. Okay, Arachnogenesis we might be able to make use of. Let's get a Forest into play, and again, nothing we can do. And at the end of our turn, the Brass Squire will put the sword on the Leonin Arbiter. A Rogue's Gloves is the equipment this time. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you can draw a card. And paying the mana to equip that to the Leonin Arbiter. And swinging that in towards us. Nothing to grab back from the bin. They've got a Deep Analysis in there. I don't think they've cast that at any point. I don't think I've missed that. They must have discarded it somehow. And now Lucille has been equipped to Negan. And there is a Scavenger Grounds in play there as well. Swinging that one in towards Billy Kills. He sacrificed the Wonder, which is obviously of benefit to him, so all of his stuff has flying now. Deciding to block with the Banehound. But Negan does have Menace, so we'll have to block with two things here if he wants to. And that is Eternal Witness and that as well. Then deciding not to block at all, so just going to take 6 points of Commander by the looks of it. Billy Kills grabbed the Mesmeric Orb back in the previous turn and is now playing it again. And then Life from the Loam, grabbing some lands back from the bin. Not sure if he actually had lands in the bin there, might just be using that to dredge. 3 cards in hand anyway, so then it's round to our turn, and of course we just get into a land. Let's play that out and we'll go for the Avenger of Zendikar. Would have been nice to get double the plant tokens, of course, but at this point we're pretty much just hoping for the Avenger of Zendikar to actually stay in play. The Mardu player with the treasure tokens, in response to the trigger, might be able to blow that up. But we do get the plant tokens, so that dodges a lot of the sacrifice stuff that Negan might be wanting to do. So hopefully we'll keep that in play long enough to actually draw cards. We'll draw 5 cards with Return of the Wild Speaker. And now the mill starts with the Mesmeric Orb. Dousing Dagger for another equipment. And they're probably best not giving us the plant tokens because we have a Plant Lord in Avenger of Zendikar, and they don't. They go for Billy Kills getting those tokens. Then hard equipping that to their Leonin. So that is now a 6/5 with Pro Black and White. And turning it in towards Negan, as they should. So he goes down to 30. Dousing Dagger, the Rogue's Gloves, and the Sword will trigger. And there's still no creature that he can get back with the Sword of Light and Shadow. But transforming the Dousing Dagger into Lost Veil. So you can tap down for 3 mana of any one colour with that. And he does to immediately throw down a Darksteel Plate, 2 to equip next turn. Can't do it here unless he wants to tap down the Brass Squire. Final parting, search for 2 cards, one into hand and the other into the library. And they've decided to put Elesh Norn into the graveyard there. So let's see if they can reanimate it. Yep, there's Animate dead, so we're going to draw a lot less cards with the Avenger of Zendikar. Only draw 3 cards with that now. Totally wipes Kills board as well. And in fact Negan can just get us to sacrifice the Avenger of Zendikar if he wants to. But instead, deciding to swing Negan in towards Go-Go, forcing him to sacrifice one of his creatures. The 4/4 Walker coming in towards us. And the 3/5 is as well. We're just going to take the damage here. So before sacrificing the Brass Squire, he's going to put the Darksteel Plate onto his Voltron here. And then does sacrifice the Brass Squire. They did dredge back the Life from the Loam and got rid of some lands there. There is a Mortivore in the graveyard as well. Casting the Life from the Loam got them some lands back into hand. So going up to 5 eventually. Kills hasn't been doing too well on the land drops. Now it's our turn to mill a bunch of cards. And we got rid of some lands there. There's the new Perplexing Test. The Fairy Artisans. And Fable of Wolf and Owl. Then a Mystic Reflection, which might be worth holding on to. Because, yeah, if someone gets down a trouble creature, then we could make it a copy of, I don't know, the Walker or something. So let's just go for Return of the Wild Speaker here. The Mardu player is holding up priority. We end up drawing some cards. There is a Clone Legion, which we might be able to make use of. Didn't tap down my Ancient Tomb for 2 mana, because we're not doing too well here, but I could have gone for Nature's Law or the Talisman of Curiosity there. Instead, I want to hold up the Mystic Reflection, so let's pass the turn at that. Ruined Crown from Go-Go. I don't know this one, it's from Kaldheim. Enters the battlefield, search your library, hand and or graveyard for a rune card. Put it onto the battlefield attached to this. The equipped creature gets +1/+1. They won't be able to search their library unless they pay into the Leonin. Oh, of course, this taps for 3, doesn't it? So they've tapped that for 3 for the equipment, and then they've paid the 2 into the Leonin. And I said about Nature's Law before, we couldn't have done that, could we, thanks to the Leonin Arbiter, so that would have been a mistake had I been able to do that. The rune they go for onto the crown is Rune of Speed. And when it enters, you draw a card. If it's on an equipment, the equipped creature has +1 and haste, +1 to its power. Grafted War Gear as well. And you sacrifice the creature when it becomes unattached, it's +3/+2. Then turning in the Arbiter sideways towards Billy Kills. I didn't actually look at what he's milled this turn. There's a Whir of Invention, Giant Killer, Realm Cloak Giant, so he'll be able to wipe the board next turn of non-giant creatures if he gets that back into hand. Pure Steel Paladin's a really good one, Walking Atlas, so plenty of creatures to grab back here, but should go for the Realm Cloak Giant. And that's exactly what he does, grabbing that back with Sword of Light and Shadow. Goes up to 5 cards with the gloves as well. Bunch of stuff being milled over here as well, including the awesome new Esper Sentinel. I think this is the most important card for our format in Modern Horizons 2. Well, there's a Karmic Guide. Let's see what they're after here. They want themselves a Villis, so how's about we have the Villis come down as a copy of a Walker instead. So that lands. The Karmic Guide has targeted the Villis already, and that will come down as a copy of a zombie token. And there we see, that should have been a Villis, but it is a 4/4 zombie instead. So I imagine the Mardu player will swing in at us for doing that. Okay, well, the Negan went in towards... Alright, well, Negan went in towards Go-Go. They have to sacrifice their creature. Can't see where anything else is going yet. We are getting Draneth Magistrate. We're getting a couple of zombie tokens and the Elesh Norn as well, yep. So we did assume that they were going to swing in at us, and they are doing. Let's just block the most damage from a zombie, because I'm assuming that the board's going to get wiped next turn. Only 2 cards left in Negan's hand. He might have protection, but hopefully not. And then a Brawn, which he won't mind getting wrapped up in the board wipe. If he's no means of discarding it, he might as well play it out. That will give his creatures trample, as long as he controls a forest. And now we will mill a bunch of cards, because we tapped down all of our lands last turn. And there is Curse of the Swine. I'm not going to bother with that if Go-Go is just going to wipe the board next turn, so it's probably just ramping this turn. We'll crack some of these fetches as well to fix our colours properly. So we go down to 11 after being hit for a bunch. We'll be able to hold up the Arachnogenesis here. And then maybe next turn we'll be able to get our commander into play finally by turn 9. So there we go, Go-Go going for Cast Off, destroy all non-giant creatures. And we'll see if the Mardu player can protect his board. Alright, excellent, getting rid of that, so hopefully that will really slow down the Mardu player. I imagine he just replays Negan again next turn. Oh, and then Ardent Intrepid Archaeologist, so yeah, this could spell the end of us, because they can equip all that up and have haste. We'll have to go Arachnogenesis if they're coming towards us. So everything getting equipped onto here. That is now a 9/7 with Pro White and Black, Haste and Indestructible. And they swing in towards Billy Kills with that. That's the last player I thought they'd go in for, to be honest. Happy it's not us though. And now it is round 2, the Mardu player's turn. Negan coming back into play. And he's going to deal with the Voltron piece over there. Kills, dredging back Life from the Loam again. Anyway, casting the Life from the Loam to get some lands back. Now a Lord of Extinction. Don't think he can put haste on that, but that is a 94/94. The graveyards can be exiled by this Scavenger Ground, so not too sure that we need to worry about that. I mean, I suppose if it goes in at us, the Negan player will allow it. Might still go for Curse of the Swine on that next turn. And that has us drawing into a Pongify. So maybe we can just hold up the Pongify, not necessarily worry about this. We'll get our commander into play on turn 9 for the first time this game. And then we could go for that. Actually, we don't have the mana for it anyway, but yeah, I was going to say we could go for that, but there's not really anything to exile, to be honest. I might just trust Billy Kills to not come in at us with this. If we go Pongify onto that in response to all the equips and stuff, then hopefully that will slow them down even further. We've got Arachnogenesis against the Lord of Extinction anyway, so yeah, we'll just pass like that, I think, without going for the Curse of the Swine this turn. If our opponents manage to build up any kind of a board with regards to creatures, it'll make our Clone Legion better anyway. Well, Go just keeps getting into these types of creatures. Balam, Wandering Knight. Attach all equipments you control to it for only 2 mana. And that's the first thing they're going to do here. Oh, then a Grand Abolisher. So I am going to have to ask Go where he's going here. It might be that the Mardu player does something in response. Yeah, looks like he's got something. A Restoration Angel, so going to flicker the Negan and point it over towards the Balam player, I would hope. So we will allow him to do that. And Negan is pointed at Go as you would expect, so he has to sacrifice his Balan. It will be good to have a Grand Abolisher under our control as well in the form of a Clone Legion. So Balan went down obviously, but Grand Abolisher enters play and Grafted Wargear ends up on there at the end of the turn, making that a 5-4. The Lucille going on to the Restoration Angel here. Gonna have to ask Negan where he's swinging with that. Although we could always still Arachnogenesis in response to the trigger, because they will have swung in at that point. And get a Spider token where X is the number of creatures attacking you, so we can respond to the trigger. So instead of trying to politic, we'll just see where they go. I have a feeling they might come in at us with that. No, going in towards Billy Kills, wanting to sacrifice the Lord of Extinction without getting rid of everyone's graveyard, because he does have reanimation stuff, so not wanting to exile everyone's graveyard would make sense if he doesn't have to. So Lucille will trigger. And it's 1 card in hand there. Negan is going in towards Go as well. Negan is just a 4-3 though against a 5-4, so I'm guessing he just wants to trade. Or he might have some means of buffing the Negan somehow. Anyway, Go just taking the damage, going up to 20 commander. That was still a risky... yeah, this is 20 Negan commander damage, so that was still a risky take. But not going down to commander damage here. Okay, here we go, the Mimeoplasm. Not sure if there's some kind of combo that he's been able to put together here. I can't actually keep the graveyard open long enough to actually have a route through. And I don't know all the combos anyway. Alright, and it looks as though he's just going to pull the trigger on the Scavenger Grounds, exiling all cards from all graveyards. So that does get rid of a couple of cards from us as well in Cackling Counterpart and the Amphin Mutineer. So all this means is that the Mimeoplasm is going to come down as a 0-0 and die immediately. So that goes straight back into the command zone and Kills is back at square one. Not sure if he kept his Life from the Loam in hand though, I think he did. Yeah, I'm not seeing it in exile here, so I think he's got Life from the Loam in hand. It's probably too slow though. Oh, and there we go. Life from the Loam being cast. Drawing a card by sacrificing the Nurturing Peatland. And then we get back round to our turn, fairly unscathed by the looks of it. Do we want to scry with Castle Vantris? Yeah, I think that's okay. There's a 3 visits and a Rex Sage. Rex Sage, if we manage to make token copies of that, would be good. And I wouldn't mind seeing the back of that Lucille. So yeah, let's go bottom and top on the Rex Sage. Priority still being held by the Mardu player, curiously. Only 1 card in hand over there. Oh, but of course we just mill everything straight away anyway. Yeah. It's a bit of a Staxy game, so I have kind of switched off. Sakura Tribelder, Arcane Signet, Mana Crypt, Parallel Lives goes down, as does the Reclamation Sage that we just scried on top. Okay, Malcolm, Keen-Eyed Navigator. Don't have any semblance of haste, unfortunately. I'm wondering if we just pull the trigger on Clone Legion now. We'll end up with an okay board, I suppose. Yeah, maybe we just go Malcolm, Keen-Eyed Navigator here and then hold up all of our stuff again. Malcolm, Keen-Eyed Navigator is a means of making some treasure tokens, by the way. So if we just hit one opponent with this flying pirate, then we'll make 2 treasure tokens. It's a little bit of ramp for us if our commander's in play. Not sure if it's good enough to be in the deck though, because it is pretty slow. Yeah, holding up Arachnogenesis and Pongify, I think, and that will give our opponents a chance to build up a bit of a board, which gives us more chance to copy stuff with the Clone Legion. Yeah, we'll pass at that, I think. Raydan, God of the Worthy. Snowlands your opponent's control, enter tapped. I don't think I've seen this one being cast since it was printed. I have been wary of running Snow Basics, because there was no downside to it for the longest time, but this, along with the black board wipe of Snowlands, is definitely some snow hate, so need to be careful running Snowlands from now on. Then Esior, Wardwing Familiar coming into play as well, so that means Curse of the Swine is a little bit worse. Getting those creatures in play might suggest that the Lucille creature will come in towards us as well. More chance of hitting a creature that's actually relevant. Just passing through the combat phase, does have to be wary of Negan. Only 1 more point of commander damage will see him out of the game. Okay, I had a feeling that's what it was. Our opponent was taking a long time tapping down their mana there. They seemed to be struggling, and I assumed it was a 3-colour spell. Ruinous Ultimatum, so we are going to lose our commander, unfortunately. Yeah, we've still got the Arachnogenesis, so we'll just see where they want to swing in here. They might choose to take us out. Like I said, Go-Go is teetering at 20 points of commander, so it would make sense to take Negan in there. Does leave the Negan player empty-handed at least. And Negan going in towards Go-Go, but he has a Hushwing Griff to throw in the way of that. So he will have a blocker here for the Negan. That doesn't have Menace. We could go for the Arachnogenesis and get a couple of tokens and just block one of them and take 2. I think I'll do that. It's a better use of mana. I'd like to get my commander down next turn and go for Pongify, if we need to go for Pongify, obviously. So just deciding to go for the Arachnogenesis here, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by non-spider creatures. So what we can do here is gang up on that zombie, and we won't lose one of our spiders. So just take down a zombie token. Neither of us take any damage, obviously, due to the fog, and that allows Go-Go to keep his Hushwing Griff in play as well. And now Kills, going for the Mimeoplasm again. He has access to turning it into a Muldrotha, I assume is what his aim is here. I don't know if he needs 2 legal targets for Mimeoplasm or not. Either way, I don't intend on messing around with Billy Kills. He's done pretty much nothing this game, same as me. Oh, he did have something to exile with it, because it comes in as a 10-10 with some plus counters on it. Oh, it's not just... Oh, I've never played with Mimeoplasm. It's exiling creatures from graveyards, not just your graveyard. Alright, so we got rid of the Stonehewer Giant from Go-Go. Put that into exile. And the Muldrotha is from his own graveyard, of course. So that does mean he'll be able to get that Mesmeric Orb back. Might have to go Pongify onto that. I suppose what I could do is go Clone Legion and make a copy of the Muldrotha, so that we get to do stuff out of the bin. Yeah, I like the parallel lives, so that might be the thing to do here. Yeah, we'll leave the Muldrotha in play. Get a Hinterland Harbour. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is exactly enough for Clone Legion. Yeah, I'm not sure I want to put all that mana into just getting a Muldrotha. Maybe we could do it next turn. Yeah, I think I'm going to carry on playing the slow game here and get our commander down again. And once again, we'll hold up the Pongify and hope that no one does anything too crazy next turn. This way as well, it might encourage the Restoration Angel, or at least the Lucille, to swing in towards the Muldrotha player to get rid of this. Muldrotha does set alarm bells off for people. I don't know if he'll bother to look at his graveyard. He might just be scared of seeing the Mesmeric Orb come back into play. I can't leave the graveyard open for some reason. Magic Online doesn't like you doing that. Esior, Wardwing Familiar coming back into play again. And this time it is Sword of Truth and Justice. And that goes on their commander, which cannot swing in this turn. And we can't Pungify that anyway, we don't have enough mana. If it had gone on the Hushwing Gryph, I might have been tempted to do that. No cards in the Mardu player's hand. I'm not sure if they just played the Castle Lochthwain or if they've had it for a while, but they activated that anyway. Going down to 29 and 1 card in hand, thanks to the Lochthwain. And the Angel swings in towards Billy Kills as we assumed it would, so that does get rid of the Muldrotha. Now I think I might like to make a copy of Negan, so don't think I want to Pungify it. We do have to worry about this bird because it has protection from blue now, but if we get a couple of Restoration Angels into play, we've got a spider left over. We could still block it, so yeah, let's go for blocking with a spider here. And that's combat done. Negan decided to keep that 1 card in his hand. Over to Billy Kills. Billy Kills grabs some lands back with Life from the Loam, which he already had in hand. 7 cards in hand, 3 of which are lands. And now it is back round to our turn, so maybe it's time for this Clone Legion. Sylvan Library, a little bit too late for that, but can we hold up the Pungify? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we're going to have to go for the Ancient Tomb shocking us here, and then we can go Clone Legion. Not the most impressive Clone Legion, but we'll get 6 creatures out of it at least, and then we'll have to get rid of a Negan, so it'll be 5 creatures we're getting. And we do get copies of those, so choose a Negan to keep, doesn't really matter. And there we go, we've got a bit more of a board now. Restoration Angel we couldn't have made use of anyway, but it is switched off with the Hushwing Gryph. All I really cared about there was getting some flying blockers into play. Maybe we can start dealing some damage next turn. Academy Ruins being activated now again. I don't know if they already had that in play or if they've just played it now, but putting a Grafted War Gear on top. Doing that during the upkeep, so we know what they're going to draw into this turn. Then playing and equipping to the Esior Wardwing Familiar. So we've actually only got 1 blocker against that, and it's the Spider. We're going to have to find an answer pretty sharpish. It does come in towards us. That is a 6/7 with Pro White and Blue. So the Arachnogenesis doing us some good this game. We'll block with the Spider so that we can stay at 9 life. And then Indestructible being put on the Hushwing Gryph to make it a good blocker. Oh good, Field of the Dead coming in for the Mardu player, so that does trigger itself and make a zombie token straight away. Then with 1 card in hand going for Castle Lochthwain again. Knocks him down to 27 and 2 cards in hand. An all-out attack on Billy Kills from Negan, a 2/2, a 4/3 and a 5/4. Looks as though players are going to start going down soon, hopefully. Oh good. Yeah. Merciless Eviction, exile all creatures. Billy Kills goes down to 1, so he's nearly done, but staying in this game. Alright. Just recasting our commander next turn, apparently. Sacrificing the Nurturing Peatland again for a card draw. Must have got that out again previously with the Muldrotha. You can't tap it for mana now that he's at 1 life anyway, so might as well draw a card with it. A Skull Prophet. Either mill 2 cards or tap for black or green. Then going for the Life from the Loam again. Oh, that might have been how they got it, yeah. Life from the Loam gets them into the Nurturing Peatland again. Not going for the Hinterland Harbour, curiously. Don't suppose he really cares at this point. And there is a Cyclonic Rift. For any of you that don't know, we have decided to get rid of the house bans from this channel. And anyone can pretty much run anything they want. So you might expect to see more of the Stax builds. Actually, the only Stax cards that were banned are the ones that keep lands tapped to make the game last even longer than this one, like Winter Orb and stuff like that, so we haven't actually seen any banned cards yet. We can't go for Sylvan Library and our commander, but I think getting down our commander and holding up Pungify again is a good idea, because we can wipe the board with Cyclonic Rift. Not actually getting into many means of making tokens, unfortunately. So getting our commander down yet again. Well, there's one that I haven't seen in a while. Wyleth, Soul of Steel, that's a really good commander. And when it attacks, you draw a card for each aura and equipment attached to it. Due to the trample, we'll probably have to go Pungify onto that. Yeah, we'll let them equip the War Gear. If they go for the sword, which I dare say they will, or the Dark Steel, then Yeah, we'll have to blow it up, because trample is not good for us. Neither's the protection from colours. Yeah, because there's every chance that they could drop a Lightning Greaves as well. Yeah, if they go... We don't know if they're going to have haste is the only problem here. And this means that we don't necessarily have to go Cyclonic Rift next turn as well. So yeah, I think we do go Pongify here. Also, the Cyclonic Rift will get rid of the Ape token permanently. Anyway, deciding to equip the Ape up with both the Dark Steel and the Sword of Truth and Justice. And they can throw that on there still as well. It was just worth playing around because they could have had a means of haste in their hand still. And by that time it's too late to get rid of the creature. So that is now an 8/7 with Pro White and Blue and Indestructible. Does not have Trample, which is noteworthy compared to the Wyleth. Wyleth's a means of drawing cards as well, of course. Bloodstained Mire being cracked by the Mardu player at the end of the turn, getting down a shock land tapped. And another land coming into play to the Field of the Dead. And of course it's a Cabal Coffers with Urborg in place, so a lot of mana to be generated. Luckily only one card in hand though. And activating Castle Locthwain again. And playing out the Phyrexian Arena, so going to start drawing double the cards that all of us are drawing. Much better to get Phyrexian Arena out early though, although obviously didn't have much of a choice in that regard. Zombie gets equipped with the Lucille. So we might see the last of our Adrix and Nev here. Yeah, the Negan targets us, so it gets rid of our commander. And then, yeah, getting rid of a player with the zombie, so not too worried about the Voltron player apparently. But forcing Billy Kills to sacrifice here, so if he doesn't have a means of getting rid of the zombie, then he goes down. And there we are, finally, 2 hours in, a player gets knocked out. And round to our turn we go. That is a command tower, just throw that down straight away. So I think we go Sylvan Library here, and then we are going Cyclonic Rift. Yeah, I imagine the Ape is going to turn in sideways at us, but we'll wait for them to attack first, and then we'll go for the Cyclonic Rift. I think we're just delaying the inevitable at this point though. Academy Ruin being activated during Gogo's upkeep. And they are after Sword of Light and Shadow to grab creatures back from the bin. That means that they are tapping a decent amount of mana before the combat step, which is really good for our Cyclonic Rift. It means they can't replay things out after we bounce everything in combat. They might have the single red counterspell for the Cyclonic Rift though. Alright, thought he was going to play out the creature there, but Return to Dust going on to Lucille. And the Phyrexian Arena, that's really good to see the back of Lucille, because it's been a huge pain in the neck this game. It is really good to see the back of that. Shuko is just +1 to power, and obviously that gets equipped for 0. And then passing through combat, that's curious. I wonder if he did that on purpose, or if that was a misclick. Well, either way, that is actually really good for us. It means that we can potentially get some value out of the Mardu player as well. If they decide to play any spells during the main, then it just swallows up even more of their mana. Playing a land for Field of the Dead, that is a Dust Bowl. So that means that we'll bounce the zombie for this turn as well. And it looks like they are doing something. That is, oh jeez, an Oblivion Stone, alright. We've got a decent board, so I'm not sure they will blow up the board here. Might just put a divinity counter on something. Drawing with Castle Locthwain with 0 cards in hand means they just take 1 point of life. And then everything's swinging in at us as you would expect it to. This is 4, 8 and 10 damage, so we do have to Cyclonic Rift at this point. And that lands, everything goes back to hand. Neither player had the red elemental blast or anything like that they would have needed. Now playing out the Orzhov Signet again. And the O-Stone. So yeah, I suppose they could just sit on the O-Stone now, couldn't they? They've got 5 mana held up there, so maybe that's what they do. Tireless Tracker, we will draw more cards with the Sylvan Library. Not going to put life into it, I don't think. Alright, Shamanic Revelation. A little bit too late for that, but Could make use of it with the Curious Herd. So let's put Tireless Tracker on top and the Shamanic Revelation on top. And I'm just holding up Curious Herd here. I think our commander is out of range. 10 mana for our commander. And we could cast it, but we'd only have 1 mana available. And it's just going to get wrapped up in the O-Stone anyway. So let's hold up Curious Herd. 2 equipments coming out in Sword of Truth and Justice and Dark Steel Plate. And then another one of these abilities in Armory Automaton. So that will equip those up straight away. Which encourages the Mardu player to go for the Oblivion Stone. That's really good. Unfortunately, you can get this back with Sun Titan, but I think we saw the back of Sun Titan sometime previously. Yeah, it's in the Exile Zone, so no Sun Titan for us. Darksteel Plate does stick around because it's indestructible. Another land triggers Field of the Dead. Volrath Stronghold this time. Then activating the Castle Locthwain again, going up to 3 cards in hand. And down comes the Negan again. It can't make us sacrifice our commander at least, so might be going for that next turn. Our Curious Herd isn't too good, while there's no artifacts and enchantments in play, unfortunately. No means of flash or anything, we might as well make use of the Castle Vantress here. And I will scry the Tireless Tracker to the bottom. Shamanic Revelation is going to be pretty much our only means of card draw. It's very slow because we've got a lot of setting up to do to make that good, but you never know. We might be able to do something with that, so I'll keep it on top. We will look at 3 cards. We will draw into it. Sylvan Library went down to the O-Stone. So now, hopefully, we'll be able to keep our Adrix and Nev in play. And maybe some more artifacts will come into play over here for the equipment player. Dwarven Hammer for Go-Go. When it enters, you may pay 2. If you do create a 2/1 dwarf and attach the hammer to it, it has +3 to its power and trample. And they do decide to do that, so that is now a 5/1 with trample that we need to worry about. Could always exile it though, I suppose. Darksteel Plate goes on there as well. And now playing the Sword of Light and Shadow again that they got previously. And Dust Bowl gets rid of the Lost Veil. And they sacrificed a Prismatic Vista in order to do that. Then Volrath Stronghold was activated there. They got themselves the Felidar Guardian, so yeah, that smells like a combo to me. Field of the Dead continuing to trigger. And both of them coming in at us. That is the 4/3 Commander and the 2/2 Zombie. We're just going to have to take this. And now casting the Felidar Guardian, exile another creature or permanent and return it to play under its owner's control. So maybe getting rid of our Adrix and Nev yet again. But maybe not. Maybe they get rid of the Indestructible so that they can start piling on damage more easily. Yeah, they do target us to get rid of our commander. Ugh. And then drawing a card with the Locthwain again. And now a Plaguecrafter will get rid of the dwarf, so we won't keep in our commander either way. So yeah, the Shamanic Revelation's never going to do anything for us, is it, I suppose? Even if we go Curse of the Swine to exile creatures, they're going to be left with 2/2s, which is enough to take us down at this point, so let's discard the Curse of the Swine to the Plaguecrafter. And now they are destroying another land with Dust Bowl, Academy Ruins this time. Sacrificed their Surgiri Glacier. Okay, Solemn Simulacrum is a means of ramp and potentially some card draw. Probably going Curious Herd, maybe Go-Go will get some more artifacts out to make that better for us. Let's drop the Solemn Simulacrum. And Go-Go Batman with 3 cards in hand decides to finally cast the Realm Cloak Giant, which is a 7/7 with Vigilance. Doesn't look like he's going to make any more artifacts for us, unfortunately. And then Volrath Stronghold being activated again, and Plaguecrafter is going back on top for Negan to draw. So there's Plaguecrafter. They will make a treasure token here. So there they are, recasting the Plaguecrafter again. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a creature, create a treasure. So they will get some more artifacts here. We'll draw a card to the Solemn. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control this turn, create a token that's a copy of that creature. Might be able to use that this turn. Actually, we don't have the mana for it, do we? Probably still going for Curious Herd, but we'll see what they do. I suppose it's still safest to target Go-Go with the Curious Herd because they could sacrifice the treasures in response. Activating the Castle Lochthwain again, they've made a lot of use out of that this game. Now a Stoneforge Mystic. And they decided to search out the Skull Clamp, so playing that immediately. Equipping it to a zombie. And now it is through to the attack step, so I imagine we'll only see one Skull Clamp zombie coming towards us. No, they actually send 3 creatures in towards us. Skull Clamp Zombie, Regular Zombie, and Felidar Retreat, or Felidar Guardian it's called. And then the commander goes in towards Go-Go, which is lethal commander damage. Let's go Curious Herd, targeting Go-Go. He'll help us out one last time before going down. So we get the 3/3 beasts into play. And we'll have to make all the blocks here. We will lose one and have our opponent draw a card, but we'll get rid of one of their zombies as well. That spells the end for Go-Go, as well as the zombie token here, drawing 2 cards and going up to 3 in hand. Another land came into play there to trigger the Field of the Dead again. And there is a Dust Bowl onto our Castle Vantress. We'll just float blue mana with that. They got rid of one of their dual lands. Then throwing a Skull Clamp onto one of their zombies, and I imagine that'll be the end of their turn. They've still got the Volrath Stronghold held up. And a 3 visits. Yeah, way too late for a 3 visits. Let's play it anyway. Let's go Shamanic Revelation. And yep, just more mana. Might as well play that out. And then maybe our opponent will get a creature into play. It's probably just going to be the Plaguecrafter again to get a beast out of the way. I think our opponent's got us here. Not going to bother with the Cultivate. And yeah, rather predictably going for the Plaguecrafter again. So once again they'll draw into that next turn. Not going to bother making a copy of the Plaguecrafter with this because they'll just sacrifice the Stoneforge Mystic or a zombie token. And if they decide to just play around instead of going wide on us, we might be able to punish them by getting a decent creature into play. Getting a copy of their decent creature into play, that is. We'll see what they do here. Going straight in for the Plaguecrafter. Activating Castle Lochthwain again, rinse and repeat. And then Recruiter of the Guard. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if we can even get anything with that. We'll just do this for the fun of it. We're going to lose this one regardless. It might switch off whatever they were wanting to cast with the Recruiter of the Guard as well, because this will last until the end of the turn. Champion of Wits is probably the one to go for. And there we go, that is a 3-hour game. So there we go, can't quite go wide on us here, because they decided to play out the Recruiter of the Guard. They got themselves a Dual Caster Mage, which we'd also get a copy of. Let's block the Negan. They can recast Negan, but like I said, we've lost this one anyway. So we'll go down to 1 here. Skull Clamp triggers when we kill the zombie. And looks like they went for Dust Bowl again, this time getting rid of our Tropical Island. And now making it round to our turn again. That is a quasi-duplicate. Let's go Champion of Wits. And we'll draw cards equal to its power, which is 2 at the moment. And that means we have to discard 2, and there is a Coma. Yeah, it's a bit too late for Coma, unfortunately. But we'll get rid of the Cultivate and the Sol Ring. Yeah, I think it's too late for Coma. We'll have 3 blockers, which means they go wide on us. Yeah, that is unfortunate. And we're running out of time anyway, so let's just go Quasi-Duplicate. Alright, going for that Dual Caster Mage. So they will copy the Quasi-Duplicate, make a copy of their own creature. Probably the Felidar Guardian, I would think. And yeah, going for the Felidar Guardian. Alright, so instead of just sitting through everything here, our opponent's got us here. We don't have anything, so we'll just call it a day there. So that is the end of a 3-hour game, turn 19. This video is probably going to take about 5 hours in total, including the playing of the game. in order to get it to all of you. That's a hell of a lot of time and effort put into that. So hopefully you all consider supporting on Patreon. Massive thank you to GoGo and Billy Kills for their consistent support on Patreon, and to the rest of the patrons as well, of course. Hopefully you all enjoyed it and it doesn't feel as much of a grind to you as it does to me once I've edited everything down. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.